What's Raila Odinga up to? That's the question which is giving William Ruto and his government sleepless nights. Because clearly, Raila Odinga has a plan. He has a strategy. But what is he up to? Raila Odinga began by attending the Bunge la Wananchi meeting, which was held at Jivanje Gardens. And most Kenyans thought that probably it was just a by the way. After that, Raila Odinga followed it up by appearing in Mathare, where he was received well. And the question which Kenyans are currently asking, what is Raila Odinga up to? In this video, I want us to try and attempt to answer that particular question. But before we go into all those details, in case you're watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Now, let us begin this video. What's Raila Odinga up to? Because that's the biggest question. Raila Odinga lost in the last election. And the general mood of his supporters is that he need to take a break. But Raila Odinga appeared. And today I was talking to Bunge la Wananchi in Kisumu, and it's like majority of them feels that Raila Odinga should actually do whatever he's doing. William Ruto, Rigathi Gachagua, and his team were forced to hold a 7-hour meeting, strategy meeting, according to Rigathi Gachagua himself. The idea behind that meeting was to find a way of how to counter Raila Odinga. And that explains why William Ruto also made a public appearance yesterday by opening that particular school. And William Ruto again had to talk about the high cost of living. But what's Raila Odinga up to? For me, I tend to think that Raila Odinga has this up his sleeves. Number one, whatever Raila Odinga is doing could actually be his exit strategy from politics. You know, after the last election, Raila Odinga, in my view, is now going around the country. He's likely to start going around the country just to prepare ground for his exit. That could be a strategy. Why am I saying that it could be a strategy? You know, Raila Odinga has contested for the presidency 5 times. And in most of those 5 times, apart from 1997, Raila Odinga has always believed that he won the presidency. Even in the last election, Raila Odinga is yet to accept that he lost the election. But despite losing the elections, his supporters have always stood with him. They're with him. And there were those who were feeling that it was now right time for Raila Odinga to hang the boots. Indeed, if it's the time to hang the boots, Raila Odinga can't just leave his people like that. He must choose the right time to leave. Which means he has to go to his people, rally them around a cause, achieve that cause. Like if it will be about piling pressure, mass action, he must rally his troop, succeed in that rallying call, whether it's also going to be call for constitutional change. Once that's successful, then he can now say that, okay, we were not able to win because these were the issues 1, 2, 3. And after we have done this, now let me now take a back seat and let my team proceed. In fact, there's someone who was telling me that after the last election, Raila Odinga actually had a meeting with his team, Joho, Kalonzo, Martha, Oparanya, and several others in Mombasa. And they reached several conclusions. One of them was that Kalonzo was now going to be the face of Azimio. So I don't know whether Raila's moves are basically to create that avenue to exit, then Kalonzo will take over. But I'm thinking it could be a strategy to thank his supporters and then he will exit at the right time. It could be a strategy. Number two, I think Raila Odinga could also be up to revolution. Raila Odinga's campaign in the last election lacked something. Revolutionary ideas. Raila Odinga's last campaign appeared as if Raila Odinga was the president. Of course, he enjoyed the support of a sitting president. So there's certain things which Raila Odinga missed in the last election. And Ruto became the president. And Raila Odinga is not happy. Even Raila Odinga supporters are not happy with the government. Even those who voted for William Ruto probably are not happy with the way things are taking shape. So I tend to think that one thing Raila Odinga is planning to do is to engineer revolution against this government. Go to Bunge la Wananchi, incite them. Go outside there, go to Mombasa, tell them about the port. Go to Kisumu, tell them about the cost of living. Go to Mombasa, go to Kakamega, for example. Tell them about cost of unga. Then people, he will, once he began and people are like, okay, what Raila is doing is not right, he ought to stay a bit, yeah. The next day, Raila Odinga was in Madare and, the turnout was good. People were like, okay, yeah, this is what he should be doing. So people are actually embracing what he's doing. Once they embrace it, he can then engineer revolution. So that's for me, number two. Number three, Raila Odinga could also be planning to revenge on William Ruto on behalf of Uhuru Kenyatta. What am I saying? The truth of the matter is that after 2017 election, William Ruto embarked on campaign immediately. And he sustained it for 5 good years. Which means if Raila Odinga will start going outside there to meet supporters, nobody will accuse him of early campaigns. If you ask me, nobody will ask Raila Odinga of early campaigns because Ruto did that. So I'm also seeing the hands of Uhuru Kenyatta that this guy refused to support me. He embarked on early campaigns, which really disoriented me. So please, my brother, I know you can start early, please, just revenge. So I'm also looking at the possibility of a revenge. Number 4, Raila Odinga could also be up to forceful reforms. The BBI failed, and Raila Odinga failed to reform the judiciary, and he failed on electoral reforms. In fact, I've always maintained on this platform that if there's one thing which really annoyed me is the fact that Raila Odinga never used the handshake, the goodwill of the handshake, to push for electoral reforms. For example, I don't see, I've never understood why Raila Odinga accepted to go into this election with Wafula Chebukati as the chairman of IBC. Because Wafula Chebukati was clearly against Raila Amolo Odinga from the onset. So Raila Odinga could use the forums to set up the country for reforms, judiciary, and IBC. And once those institutions are reformed, then he can make it clear whether it's going to run or not. So I'm seeing a possibility of electoral reforms. And lastly, I also tend to think that maybe Raila Odinga is using these events just to keep himself alive. Raila Odinga is a politician all his life. If you tell Raila Odinga to take a break from politics, the way personally I would have done, then people might forget about him. So he must be active. But if I were to advise Raila Odinga, I would give him a different advice. I've talked to so many people and they're telling me that maybe Raila Odinga is normally the king of reinvention. Maybe Raila Odinga is reinventing himself. But I was telling someone that as much as that's the thing, Raila Odinga just needs to take some months off the campaign. After the campaign, 3 or 6 months, just go outside, relax there, give lectures. When you come back, you are fresh. I'm sure there are several other Azimio leaders who are taking a break. Someone like Joho, for example, is going to Harvard for some leadership training, which he has secured. So he'll be away for 9 months. And when he comes back, maybe now a different person, ready now, for example, to launch his campaign for the presidency. I know the others also within Azimio. So if I were Raila Odinga, or if I were to really be the person advising him, I'll tell him, Baba, please take 2 more weeks, meet a few people, take the next available flight, go to Dubai. From Dubai, let us go to some countries in Europe. From Europe, let's go to Miami for some golf. From Miami, you can go to UK for some leadership training for 1 year. Then Kenyans will now see the value of Raila Odinga because things shall have gone east instead of west, or north instead of south. And Kenyans will be demanding, okay, yeah, if Raila Odinga was here, this would not have been happening. If Raila Odinga was here, he would have done it differently. Then he can then come back at that particular right moment. But again, we are not Raila Odinga. Maybe it's about keeping himself happy. And again, I tend to think that these tours which Raila Odinga began at Jivanji, again in Mathare, are likely to be extended beyond Nairobi. I see a possibility of Raila Odinga taking these campaign tours, these rallies, or these Bunge la Wananchi meetings to another town. So they're likely to be nationwide. I don't know what you think, but for me, that's my take. In case you're watching the channel, please, for the first time, press that thumbs up button and share the video and subscribe. Bye-bye.